The complete lore of Solem and Forbidden and Darklord. As far as I know, this is mostly like a Christianism stuff, right? Solem is kind of like the Christian god or something, and the Dark Lords are like fallen angels, like Lucifer and stuff, right? I might be like misremembering, but I'm pretty sure that's what we are. So, but I want to see the whole extent of it. So let's watch.
She broke a sacred rule and was punished, but instead of penance, she chose to sink deeper into sin and pleasure. This is the complete story connecting Solemn, Forbidden, and the Darklord archetypes. Let's begin.
The maiden exiled from paradise. Alright.
Heaven is not just a place, it's paradise, where darkness has never once reached. It's here where God itself resides, passing judgment on those who enter this
So this is God, actually. That is so funny.
sacred place. All he needs to enact judgment is to raise his hand. Fun fact, this card got released in 1999 and is part of the first wave of counter traps ever released. There are 2 maidens in the back. In this artwork they have halos, but they got removed when the card got released in the TCG, to avoid religious connotation. In this artwork we see God taking action against you. Yes,
Me?
you viewer.
Me?
Anyways, what's interesting here is the design choice for God. We never see his eyes. This gives an unsettling feeling. He has the form of a human, but not the emotion of one. His judgment is absolute, with no room for debate. He also appears in Balance of Judgment. There is a lightning bolt coming from the balance, same lightning we see in Solemn Strike. Now Solemn Warning is different, because
This is a different guy, right?
when you look closely, you notice this old man isn't the same one shown in the other Solemn cards. This is not the same character. Or maybe it's him in the past, not sure. I think it's just a prophet. Makes sense with the card being named Solemn Warning. This figure is just a messenger. Notice how his appearance doesn't feel as imposing now that we can see his eyes. There are 2 maidens listening to him. Solemn Judgment shows 2 of these maidens.
I would assume that this is God and this is like Jesus or something. I don't know.
Heaven is a place where many of these maidens reside. The lore book says that they live a life of asceticism, which basically means giving up comfort and pleasure to live simply and focus on devotion. One day, one of these maidens ended up accidentally entering God's treasure room. There, she found a holy chalice, and she couldn't resist drinking from it. Putting her lips on the chalice sent a joy she never felt before through her entire body. Since then, she snuck into the treasure room every once in a while to sneak a treasure out, knowing full well that was expressly forbidden. We can see this in the artwork
Say that again.
of Forbidden Lance. The lance is said to have the power to slice through any type of demonic power. She also got her hands on a nice dress, one that could ward its wearer from disaster and destruction. But one day, one of the other maidens saw her sneaking into the treasure room. She didn't hesitate in telling God what she saw. Solemn accusation
Dude, this card is so funny. I don't know what about this card just looks so funny to me. Snitch. Yeah, Solemn Snitch. And the face of this one here is like so unusual. I don't know, there is something there that looks just off. But yeah.
shows this exact moment. One of the maidens whispering something, while God's expression seems displeased. Following the accusation, God himself came looking for her, and there she was, clutching a forbidden scripture.
Dude, I never realized that the guy was there in this. What the hell? That's so scary. I never realized that he was in this art. Because obviously, right? There's like a cute woman here. I never look at the background. There is also a picture in there. I don't know what's going on in that picture.
Where she had already been seen. There was only one action to be made. The maiden had to be punished. Solemn scolding shows this moment. She's kneeling before God, while the other maidens watch from the back. Notice how the maiden who told on her seems regretful, looking away. Too late, the maiden was banished from paradise. The lore book explains that as punishment for touching the treasures, she got corrupted, cursed, growing horns and wings. She will not be forgiven until the divine powers residing within her completely fade away. But she never accepted that fate. Instead of submitting to her punishment, she refused to repent, deciding to rebel against God and bring him down. From condemned maiden to condemned witch, some time has passed, but her hatred remains the same. At some point, she managed to reach him. Without hesitation, she threw a lightning bolt, but he didn't even flinch. The response came immediately, a solemn strike. She felt it through every single cell
Wait, what? I can't believe that this is all connected. What the hell? Wait, this is just Ruby lore? Is it though? I don't know. Is that Ruby? How do you pronounce it? But yeah, I don't know anything about that, so I believe you. I believe that they are inspired by the same thing. I don't think one is inspiring the other one. I just think they are both inspired by the same thing. I don't know if this was, yeah, it's pronounced like Ruby. Okay, awesome. Hey, hey.
of her body. The maiden was no match for God, but this defeat didn't stop her. It only pushed her deeper down the path of corruption until she eventually became a Darklord.
A path of corruption.
Before we continue the Maiden's story, we need to talk about the first Darklords, released way before this lore was created. Before the Maiden, many others fell from grace. The first official one is Darklord Marie, released in 2001. She is the only fiend Darklord.
This is the first Darklord? That's crazy.
And I gotta say, I miss this kind of art style. Stronger line work and darker colors, a more frightening, terrifying tone. At this time, the monsters were really monsters. Anyways, she is a name fusion material for
That was such a Yugi boomer take. I'm sorry, Beagle? But that was such a Yugi boomer take.
Another card called Saint Joan. Another beautiful artwork. The other material is the Forgiven Maiden. And the card got its design completely changed in the TCG. You can probably guess why. But honestly, the censor version is way creepier. Darklord Nurse. Her unique effect led to a whole deck built around her. The idea was to use cards that give life points to the opponent, which Nurse will then convert into burn damage. That's how the Nurse burn worked. Her design is very distinct as well. Her wings and hair end in sharp blades, almost like a bunch of scythes.
Look at Mirror Jade and tell me that's not still a monster. Well, MJ is a cool dragon, right? And if you really think about it, isn't really just a twink? Any Hekahans or Asamina? Okay, I don't know about Asamina, but Hekahans, have you seen Hekahans? They are like really nicely shaped. Some of them. But yeah, I feel like there is a lot of like it's what is it called? Cherry picking. It's cherry picking. It's a lot of cherry picking. There is always been a little bit of everything and a little bit of something for everyone. So yeah, I don't know.
These next ones got released one after another, mostly as promos for V-Jump magazine.
When I used to think, well, me as a Yugi boomer, right? What I usually think when I hear Darklord is this. This is what I used to think when I hear Darklord.
Now it's a good time to establish something. A good portion of the Darklords are inspired by divine figures, demons, or scenes from different cultures. Desire, Edda Ray, and Suburbia are some examples. Asmodeus is another example, another boss monster for the archetype.
Is it not pronounced as Modius? Modius? I don't know anymore.
He appears in the artwork of Darklord Descent as well. And the last one released before the archetype got its first wave of support was Darklord Zerato. Zerato is kind of a special appearance character. There is a whole lore just about him and the different paths he takes in his journey.
Yeah, because this is a different guy, right? From a different archetype that just became dark, right? You're correct, I think. Who knows at this point? Well, we don't get hideous card art and don't think that's an issue. Everyone has their own taste, right? But the issue is like how we express it, right? Yeah, so this is his own card storyline. Okay.
This path, he ended up getting corrupted, turning into a Darklord. But that's it for the standalone Darklords. It's time to go back to where we left the Maiden. One important fact to understand is that Darklords are not a team. They are not really allies to each other. Most of them act alone, and this is translated well into gameplay too, as they are all boss monsters not really meant to work together. The Maiden took advantage of that. She had exceptional talent with words and cunning, using this talent to slowly start influencing other Darklords and even Maidens. She made others fall from grace. We see this in the artwork of Fallen Angel in Darkness. A maiden looks desolate as her wings turn black. The maidens we see corrupted are the same ones shown in Solin's Coding and Solin Accusation. In the end, the maiden who told on her ended up becoming a Darklord as well. We can see both in their respective cards.
Yes! Yes, the roommates. They. I like how Konami decided, like, no, they are too close, right? In Darklord Dance. Dude, that is one of the funniest censorships to me. In Darklord Dance, they are they are not too close. No, 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 no. I didn't realize that they look like that together. The light. They are meant to go together. So that's so beautiful.
Indulged Darklord and Capricious Darklord. Both appear in Darklord Dance as well.
Yeah.
Interesting that they share one wing and one horn each, complementing each other. It's
I didn't realize that. Dude, I'm so... Have I not been paying attention? What have I been... I've been distracted by the faces. Then I didn't pay attention to anything else. Because that is so beautiful. I didn't realize that they all have one horn and one wing. That is so beautiful. Dude, okay, hold on. Scratch everything. I'm playing this. I'm convinced. I am playing this now. Okay, I don't care.
said that these Darklords who got influenced by the maiden had their powers stolen by her. She grew even stronger. One detail in their design from now on is that they all have a red halo above their heads, signifying their corruption. Condemned Darklord kept accumulating more and more power, with one goal in mind: challenge God once again. But she was not the first to rebel against God. Before her, another servant of God tried to bring him down. His name is Lucifer.
Yes! That's my Yoshi right there.
Once one of the God's most devoted servants, he believed himself worthy of standing at God's side rather
I
than
like that you can see him in his original design in this art. So cool.
beneath him. That ambition led him to rebel. We see this in the artwork of Darklord Rebellion, a battle depicted between him and God, one that ended with Lucifer struck down, his form twisted into something darker, wings and armor now marked by corruption. In the TCG, his name is Morningstar, which is actually a pretty clever localization. Lucifer comes from Latin and means light bringer or morning star, a reference to the planet Venus. So the TCG name isn't an unrelated replacement. Morningstar is
I
part
didn't know. I had no idea that his original name was Lucifer. I just assumed that was a case. Interesting. Two girls on a Yu-Gi-Oh card, 5 feet apart because they are not gay. So true. So true. You have to consider the implication that now that they are evil, they are no longer roommates. No, that that's why the localization is bad in this case in particular.
of the first wave of support for the Darklord archetype, but his story doesn't end here. Many other Darklords were released as well, so before we continue, let's quickly go over them. Darklord Ukobek. Ukobek is a minor demon from the dictionary Infernal, described as a low-ranking figure who maintains the oil in Hell's cauldrons. Even
Chad, would you say that you are more of a dark fairy or a light fiend? What do you think? Me personally, what do you think? Actually, I don't know anymore. I don't know. Do you think I'm more of a dark fairy or a or a light fiend? Water? Yeah. In the end of the day, we're all water. That's true. That's true.
Even though he was released in 2016, his design doesn't feature the red halo the other new ones have. His design is kinda funny, a cute little guy. Moving on. Yugioh is a different
little
case.
guy.
She has two completely different names, Yugioh in the OCG and Yugioh in the TCG. Both are goddesses in ancient Mayan culture, but represent different ideas. She appears in the artwork of Darklord
wow.
Enchantment, standing up this
Oh
time,
wow, Jesus
giving us
Christ.
a clear look at her 3 pairs of wings.
Identifies a worm? Okay.
Darklord Tezcatlipoca was a central deity in Aztec religion. He's said to emit smoke, so the illustrators designed him as a mechanical monster. His body is mostly made of metal, with exhausts at the shoulders and thighs, releasing a dense black smoke. To keep the reference, he still has a headdress of feathers and a skull face with red eyes. Next is Darklord Andus, inspired by the demon Andusias. He looks like a horse with wings and a horn. It's not a Pegasus and not a unicorn.
It's
It's
an
a alicorn.
alicorn.
His appearance is fairly distinctive compared to most other Darklords. Both he and Tezcatlipoca appear in the artwork of Darklord Banishment. We can see that both are still pure here, white wings and yellow halos. Apparently this art shows the moment they were banished, but I'm not sure about the cause of this yellow beam of energy coming from the ground. I guess it's just to represent them being sent back to Earth or maybe Hell. Nergal is a Mesopotamian god, primarily associated with war, death,
I
and disease.
didn't know this one.
Gogolal and the Hoodie are part of the latest wave of support. The Huri is the god of the moon, wisdom, knowledge, and many other concepts in the Egyptian mythology. In the artwork, he's holding the forbidden scripture. It's not clear if it's the same one, the
But
only
it's so weird when they made like Egyptian things in different archetypes. It feels weird for some reason.
difference being the color of the ornaments, silver here instead of the usual gold. Same goes for Darklord Gugolel, he's holding a silver forbidden lance. Moving on. The last Darklord to mention is Nastin, his name in Japanese is Mastema.
That's the guy from Forbidden Droplet, right? That's the guy that is like dead in Forbidden Droplet, I'm pretty sure.
An angel who leads other demons in the Book of Jubilees. The important fact here is that although leading a group of demons, similar to Lucifer, it's implied that he's actually working for God. Nastin is the infiltrated Darklord, and this explains the following
that's
events.
why he's dead in there.
Darklord Contact shows Nastin seeking audience with God. A golden staircase manifests leading to heaven. Sanctify a Darklord shows this event. It's the same place shown in Solemn Accusation. God pours something from his chalice into Nastin, probably holy water, likely granting him some kind of power.
I can't believe that this card, like the guy from the 1999 card, is still there. So ominous. Like, I feel like he becomes more and more like Aura Farmer the more that this gets like new cards. The more cards that he appears in, the more like Aura he gets. That I don't know.
Or blessing to carry out his mission among the Darklords undetected. But the maiden found out about this audience with God, and she made sure to pay Nastin a visit to put an end to it.
See, that's Forbidden Droplet. I know. What's going on with these little guys?
Droplets shows this. Condemned Darklord is about to pour something onto Nastin, who's being held by shadow creatures. His expression of despair tells us something bad is about to happen. Everything that got purified by God's chalice, she made sure to undo with her corrupted chalice. But
Did you know that Aura agriculturalist? Solemn Johnson, yeah.
that wasn't enough. She absorbed Nastin's powers, leaving him in a weakened state. This connects well with the gameplay aspect, as Forbidden Droplet negates the effect and halves the attack of the monster. While all of this was happening, Morningstar was gathering power, absorbing Darklord whose powers the maiden had stolen. He was aware of the maiden's scheming, but his objective remained the same: subjugate God and claim heaven. Darklord Uprising shows Morningstar doing that. Look closely and you can see that he's holding a bunch of red halos from other Darklords. This was all.
Why did they even do that? Why Lucifer is such a cool name? Why would they just say no? Actually, Lucifer, that's not okay. That's not. We're gonna call him Morningstar. Yeah, sure, bro.
The maiden had planned. She knew Morningstar was doing this, but it's not clear what her plan is. Regardless, with the remains of many other Darklords absorbed, Morningstar, the first Darklord, was ready to challenge God once more. The lorebook explains that once again Morningstar headed into battle against the armies of God, but unable to stand against them, he sustained incurable wounds and retreated in defeat. Unable to.
Yeah, I know that's what the name means, but like, come on. Titanic Panic, dude. We have Lucifer in Persona. We have Lucifer and we have Satan, and what was the other one? I don't remember. But we have like different names of the guy, you know, in Persona. What was the other one? I don't remember. That's cool, but I know different audience or whatever.
Achieve victory once again. Who appeared in front of Morningstar as he longed for greater power was none other than Condemned Darklord, holding the Forbidden Crown. She offered him more power, and weakened as he was, he had no choice but to accept the crown. During this exchange, he says to the maiden, "You are one deeply perverse woman." Morningstar received the Holy Crown and spat those words as he flew away. Watching his departure, the maiden whispers, "May you finally prevail this time," as she basked in pleasure. For Condemned Darklord, the act of rebelling against God had become the ultimate delight. With the Black Wings vanishing.
I can't believe that. Why am I so dumb? Why do I not look at the art properly? Why was I looking at the tummy instead of the crown?
To the twilight for a third attempt at cleaving the heavens. And that concludes the story so far. Can't wait to see what this pesky maiden will do next. Thanks for watching and see ya.
Oh wait, GMX too? Dude, this was a really good video, really well made. I really like this. So Beagle, go there, subscribe, like. because that was a really well made video. I feel like I got everything that I needed from this, and it was really concise. And yeah, so we might watch more of this in the future. And I honestly, this video convinced me to try to play this because I really vibe with everything. I don't know, like the story is so cool and the design look cool. And now that I know a little bit more about them, it feels more interesting. Like I kind of want to play like an NR format, play the chalice. I want to consume the chalice. I wish the solemn cards were in URs, but so yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you, thank you.